Boom, 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 boom. How about some ENIAC? I'm plugging ENIAC. ENIAC watches Sleazy live and stuff. So he been sending me links to his techno channel. He does these shows on Twitch and stuff. This is his Land of the Lost theme. If you like it, you can go over and check it out, either here on YouTube or on Twitch. It's under the name, what is it? ENIAC Land of the Lost. DJ ENIAC. I don't think there's any DJ ENIACs. There are a bunch of ENIACs talking about a computer. Loop, loop. Loop, drop. Loop, loop. So welcome to my first actual live stream. It's not a stream. It's live cam. To my humble studio. Yes, I keep it like a Microsoft CPU lab. You can see it's pristine. Yeah, I'm going to cast a sword. Somebody ordered one, and I'm going to cast one, and you can watch that. But before I get into that, I just wanted to introduce the concept of this channel. I don't know where it's going to go, but I do want to talk about GWAR a lot on it, and what I've done, what other people have done on GWAR, and but I'm not going to get into that tonight, and probably ease into it really slowly. Over time, because if I jump straight into, this is how it got, this is how it became GWAR, and this is who worked on it, and all the nuts and bolts of it, most people will miss it. There'll only be a few people actually seeing that, and then I'll have to repeat myself all over again, or I'll have to repeat myself more. But I'm sure I'll have to repeat myself anyways. But at least there was a little bump in subscribers. It's up to 40. We got 2 people in the chat. Alex Valentine and Spider Rico. Let's make the sword. Hello, Don. Yeah. Hey, Alex. Surprised. Koof Jackson. Like, had an alarm clock next to his head, ready to go. Some sort of YouTube notification head thumper. Yeah, I'll be getting into GWAR, and I'm going to interview people as well. I'm going to get some old GWAR members on here and talk about the old days. I'm sure we'll put together some Zoom live shows with them. But one of the main reasons why I'm doing this channel is because I have to raise awareness in projects that I'm working on outside of Sleazy P. Martini, and specifically, I'm working with Douglas Paskowitz on a graphic novel, comic book, and hopefully, we're going to do a crowdfunder. It's going to start in July, June, and so I have to lay some sort of, I have to lay a little bit of foundation for being able to promote that project. This channel is one of the ways I plan to do that. It's harder to pitch graphic, comic books in character, in the kind of detail that, that you want to, or I want to. So I decided that this will allow me to talk about projects like that in more detail without being without having to basically be nonstop, trying to be funny. Anyways, so did we add anybody else? Any bunker cats there? Nope. No. No, he stays out of here for the most part. He only comes down here because he's trying to make it to the side door. Right up there. Okay. Well, that being what, having been said, what have you, we get into casting the sword. Probably turn off this heater. That'll get rid of some of the white noise. Now I'm gonna bring my chair back. I got a couple things I got to do. I stupidly let myself run out of rubber gloves. Not good. Oh, this one's shredded. This is a double glove. Let's put on a shredded glove. Double masking, double gloves doesn't work. Not double plus good. This is inside out. Got a crap on the inside. Only the best. So I got my mix bowl. And I got this. How's the music? Can you hear it? I'll be too intrusive. I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike running ENIAC's music. That'd be my luck. All right. See if I can salvage another glove. This is pathetic. You can hear something, huh? Just hear something. That's probably where it should be. We'll turn it up a little bit. Oh, my vocals. Pretty good. Thank you. Unlicensed Adobe Alert. That's got to be loud, right? I'm getting in trouble. This is not exciting. Should have cleared this before I started shooting. So, yeah, the sword we'll be making is, let's see, the chair's blocking the mold. The sword we're making is pretty old. I've had this mold cranking out swords since, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. It's really on its last legs. You can see where the dark blue areas. That those are all repairs I've done with silicone. I use automotive high temperature gasket silicone that seems to work the best. It really sticks and it's really durable when it's a repair, better than just straight window silicone, 100%. So one of the problems with this sword mold I kept finding was air pockets no matter what I try to do, I try to roll it, and it's hard because this is a heavy mold. I should have made it with fiberglass backing instead of FGR 95 plaster. Theory being FGR 95 plaster, it's a lot easier to work with. It's faster than if you do fiberglass back molds, but you give up. Of course, you have a lot more weight. Still a lot more manageable than if you used another plaster, like if you were using Ultra Cal or something like that. FGR 95 plaster, as it's called, it's conducive to being reinforced with fiberglass, so you can make your walls thinner and stronger, and it's more durable for this sort of thing if you're going to use plaster. But like I said, it probably would have been better off. I'd have been better off using fiberglass. God, fiberglass is expensive, and it's a drag to use. It really is. All the fumes. You know. I'm just gonna say that funnel is clean enough. It's still cracked up, but it'll get through there. So, like I was saying, unfortunately, the way this design is, it's got nooks and crannies, and when I pour, no matter how I agitate it, I still would get air pockets in these areas here, and then I have to repair it with some sort of cement or glue, filler. Never looked as good, and so I learned that I have to pre-coat these detail areas with a small coat before I can cast the whole sword. Basically, the only way to do that is to lay these molds on their back. You know, take the camera view so you can see that. So now what I'm using is Profoam by Motion Picture Effects. Hey, Motion Picture Effects. Here's a plug for you. Yeah, they're the only place that makes a self-skinning polyfoam, you know, that you can buy in home kit size samples, you know, or home kit sizes. And it makes all the difference in the world, because it allows me to do is to make these swords without having any kind of latex skin. And it makes them hold, in the other paints, you know, a lot better. I can go straight with paint onto the swords and skip all the latexing and all that stuff. Unfortunately, latex, the only way to really paint it is with more latex. Almost everything else is peel. Let's see here. I need some spoons. I need my brush. Here's a used brush. This one was in acetone. I'm going to use this one. I need my towel. Get the excess acetone out of the brush so it doesn't thin my urethane foam. But if you want to reuse brushes to apply urethane foam, you can use it. You can break it down with acetone. Gotta do it quick. I only have about a minute before the brush the stuff just congeals and is not thinnable anymore with acetone. Anyhow, bring in the groove. I like it. TJ Anyhow. Let's see here. Okay. Here's my part B. So, yeah, that stuff, 60-40. Pays to get a good scale. Good ones are in Walmart. All right. And for my purposes, wait a second. Where's my black? Oh, there it is. And for my purposes, I want to tip the phone. I want to tip the phone because when the paint of the when the paint on the sword, if it rubs off, it'll be a nice gray, and it will be something. It won't stand out. A little bit of paint came off. It's gray underneath, and so it won't be that it won't be nearly as noticeable as if I left it natural white yellow foam. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little squeeze in here. Probably too much. It's only 100 grams. Now, I advise you wear a respirator at the very least with really fresh filters. Fan is your best friend. Getting the air moving is your best friend. But this stuff has isocyanates on it in it. It's kind of like a derivative or element of crazy glue. Yeah, you don't want to breathe crazy glue. It keeps its gluey. It keeps its gluey properties even when it's just a vapor going into your lungs. But for entertainment purposes, I'm going to go without a mask. I'm going to go out without a mask so that I can continue to talk to you. It's not the first time I've done it. Not sure for 15 seconds roughly. Can't help it go a little bit longer sometimes. I bet you wish you could see this better. I should have brought the camera over. I probably will after I finish applying this. Roll up. I've got really about 30 seconds where I can apply this before it congeals to the point where it's not going to be spreadable or it's going to ruin the foam. So, I'm going over all my detail areas, all those places that hold the little air pockets. Oh, I'm late on this side. I should have spread myself out there. Fill in. Doesn't have to be pretty. I'm just trying to fill in all those nooks and crannies. Make sure that they don't have air pockets. That's all that matters. Don't want the middle to build up too much where I can't pass my rod through the center of the sword. Now I got that little window. Save my brush and the acetone. I think I did. I think I broke it up pretty good. All right. Now, while this is setting up, that's the best time to put the mold together. Then I'll get a nice. I won't have to clean up the gaps. It'll just, it's still liquidy. It'll just stick together nicely. These are my mold straps. The mold maker is one of his best friends. What a revelation. We discovered these. It's a fundamental breakthrough.
Separated by party. As a job about the time.
I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. May not bother you, but it's starting to bother me. All right. First mold strap. It's taut enough where it's difficult to pull over, but not too difficult. Gotta have tension. Strategy attention. That's the first one. Come up. So I'm gonna put 5 of these. 5 of these will do. That one's a little too tough. There we go. Number 2. Pew, pew, pew. Thanks for you who showing up and watching this live. And sorry about promising something like this for too long and not getting around to it. Let me put this back up a little bit more. Now that the action is mostly up, that's too much headroom. Too much headroom. That'll do. That'll do. You can see the floor. All right. 2 more straps. So I don't know if you guys have noticed when I did when I was into GWAR, or when I was making costumes for GWAR. We would use a plaster mold, no silicone, straight plaster, and we would latex the inside of it, create a latex barrier, and then or latex skin, and then we would pour polyfoam. Shoot. This stuff a little bit. That was a tough one. That one's tight. So yeah, we would cast it out of where's the plastic mold? So you'd have a plastic mold, and could maybe strap it together or not. Maybe you just do halves. Just cast it in halves. But when you did this, we had 2 issues we were always dealing with. One was it was a lot harder to get a clean pull. Like pulling latex out of plaster is a lot harder than pulling polyfoam out of silicone rubber. The other issue was, and this is a trade-off. The other issue was that when you use latex, you can only paint it really with more latex. We found this one polyurethane-based paint. It was called the SC89, and it worked sorta, but anything that was soaked and had a lot of fluids going through it would eventually start to shed the SC89 paint job. We realized it's just because latex is actually porous. Latex allows water to migrate through it. So if something gets wet on the inside, which it always does, no matter what, there's no way you can get, a polyfoam latex prop that's soaked all the time, not to absorb water. When it comes back through, when it migrates back through, it pushes whatever paint that's not latex off of the latex. So the only thing we found that would really work to paint latex was more latex. Unfortunately, with that, when latex ages, it becomes more difficult for the next coat to stick to it. It has a tendency to delaminate. It can have a tendency to delaminate or come off. Yeah, it's making that maintenance paint job problematic, unsuccessful, whatever you want to call it. And so I started working with straight polyurethane, trying to find a good one that would self-skin. And there's a lot of opportunities or a lot of materials for that. Polytex they make a really rigid skin. It's almost like, yeah, it's stiff. It really is. It almost feels like it's fiberglass, but you can slush it and cast it, and then you can follow it. You have to follow it quickly. You can't follow late because they won't stick together, but you can follow it with a polyurethane. And all these polyurethanes are all tintable, which is nice because you get yourself a base color, that looks good even before you paint it. You can even do cool stuff like, add powdered tints and things like that. So, yeah. And the nice thing about polyurethane props is that you can just touch them up with spray paint, and they look way brighter. Look much more metallic-y than latex. Latex has a tendency to always dull. No matter what you do, it gets dull. And yeah, metal just doesn't really look that metally when it's just gray instead of shiny, at least partially shiny. Not all shiny, but partially shiny. So that's my dowel I'm going to be using. I found a broken farm tool in the back, which was great because I didn't want to have to go. I forgot to go to the hardware store to pick up a dowel for this project. But yeah, we're ready to go. Here's my main materials. Again, this is 600 part B, 400 part A. I always thought this white stuff. I thought the white stuff was the foam. It's not. It's the catalyst. That white milky stuff is the catalyst. This is the plastic right here. This is what forms the actual foam. So it just seems counterintuitive. The catalyst would be the larger amount, and the polymer would be the smaller amount. And just in case you like to know. Anyways, all right. We got our partially obstructed funnel. So, and we got our mixing pail and tool basically ready to go. All right. And our drill is over here. Who's here? Banjo Destructo. I wonder if Biscatel could be trained to do this dog sword thing from Dark Souls 1 if he had a big sword, big foam sword. Yeah. Biscatel did. I didn't realize that Biscatel is a bigger star on this channel than I was. I was just trying to be nice to my wife, get some eyeballs over there. I didn't know Biscatel would surpass me already. He's got more subscribers than I do. I got a lot to learn. This is a humbling experience, man. It's like, you got to do it the old-fashioned way. You got to earn it. I think these things are a little high. I'm losing my head. All right, we're ready to go. Tint, check. Mix bucket, check. Drill, check. 2 parts of foam, check. Paddle, check. Go in. You go in with your kicker first. Your white goes in first. I forgot a spoon. Dang it. Get it all in there. Now that's what we add our tint to. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Lower the camera a little too much. That should be enough. What was it? I don't know. 20 grams. Could be. Ready to go with our paddle bit. Get this spreader up there ready to go. I'm going in left-handed. That's good. I got my high side to the right. Ooh, there's spider webs on this thing. It's terrible. It's terrible. Ready to go. Another 15 seconds stir. Oh, I forgot to put in. God, glad I caught that. I forgot to put in the egg. Yuck, 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 yuck. I sure am glad I caught that. Never done it that way before. That was funny. Not disastrous, I don't think. I want to get all my A in here though. It's always a tendency for more B to get into the mix than the A. The B just sort of. Ooh. All right, here we go. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, 16,000. Want it all. It's not exactly warm in here, so I don't think the foam will kick excessively. If it was hot, like it's going to be in another month or so in here, it would really expand out of these holes. But for tonight, I expect it to just basically reach my vent holes. This is the scary part. If anything went wrong, if there was any miscalculation, if there is any stupidity involved in this process, and there has been some already, it may not work. There's nothing worse. I've had it happen a couple times. It's just a completely wrong, bad mix. And it happens when the foam has been just a little, it's sat around a little too long. And there's no warning. There's just no warning when that moment. Yeah, this one's popping good. So I'm gonna let my dowel come up just a little bit because I don't want that tip. I don't want hard wood up against the tip of the sword. It makes it more likely the tip would shear off when they're goofing around with it, or they drop it on the tip or something like that. That's about right. I let it rise about an inch. You see my vent holes. It's coming up good. Coming up good, y'all. Look what she said.
sure that don't pop anymore. Yeah. So, like I was saying, the urethane as opposed to um, latex and urethane foam is best example of it is the beefcake, uh, the beefcake costume. Um, the shoulder pads are fiberglass with the straight polyfoam spikes. And you can see how much crisper and sharper the lines are, the points that you can keep on those spikes when they're straight polyfoam. Latex just, when it demolds, just doesn't quite have that. Can't quite keep that as crisp an edge. Let go. I think I'm safe. Yes, success, judging by that foam. It's holding its memory after only just popping just a couple minutes ago. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Holding its memory. We'll demold in about, I don't know, I guess 15 minutes. See how it turned out. I'm going to just pull one side, though. I'm not going to completely pull it out of the mold. Because I find that it really, ideally, the foam is best if it sets up for a whole 12 hours or so in the mold if possible. But meanwhile, I can talk to you guys. So like I said, beefcake, that crest was straight polyfoam, no latex, and the spikes on it as well. And it's just a lot more convenient to just repaint it. You just take out some spray paint, and yeah, you can give it a nice, make it look all new again. You just can't do that with a latex skin prop. There are some durability advantages to the latex. Definitely. There are some durability advantages to the latex and polyfoam. But just the look of polyfoam allows you to get a sharper edge. Some people criticize it. They think it looks a little too Power Ranger-ish, which gives you an idea maybe what kind of materials they're using. They might be doing the same thing. They might be doing silicone molds with straight polyfoam, self-skinning polyfoam castings. It would make sense because you can retain more detail when you go with a silicone mold and a polyfoam or some sort of resin type casting. So that's enough about that shop talk. Let's see here. Hey, it's one of Sleazy's henchmen. Yes, Joe. I'm here to do the work my boss commands me to do. His selfish, impudent fans force me to create these dangerous, toxic props for Sleazy, which I do happily. Washington. Yeah, don't you love it? I was walking along in a street somewhere and some city, I forgot where, and I saw these people looking at me like, as I was walking past a restaurant or kind of on the patio eating area, looking at me really intently. And it wasn't until much later that I realized, wow, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm just going to say, I never saw any Native Americans picketing outside of the Washington Redskin games the whole time they were called the Redskins.
I saw a lot of PETA and animal rights activists picketing in front of circuses that I went to. But I never saw any Native Americans. There it is. I think not the greatest name and logo of all time. I mean, let's face it, it's the Buffalo Nickel logo, basically stuck inside of a dream catcher. Native American did it. He did it for Jack Kent Cooke, I believe. He designed it. I was like, you should be. You could probably get charged for plagiarism by the U.S. government. That's an Indian head nickel. But anyway, yeah. So like beefcake, I think that getting those sharper lines and crisper edges and corners was just just what that character really needed. Yeah, and that's why I made that choice. It's unfortunately things like spikes. It's not quite as durable. They can break, snap off, or shear off and get damaged. Whereas latex polyfoam just won't happen. Won't happen. I'm native. I'm part native, and it never bothered me, Alex. So okay. There's a lot of Native American high schools. Football teams, and they use the logo. They use the logo and the name or a similar native themed name for the team. I'm just sad that they couldn't have kept the native theme, for the team. Why'd they have to go as the Commanders? I hate that name so much. Might as well be the Washington Generals. They were the patsy team for the. They were the patsy team for the Harlem Globetrotter games. It's the white guys who stand around and look stupid. The Washington Generals. So that's what the Commanders remind me of. Why couldn't they kept the Native American theme name? And I think if you went to the Native American community at large and asked them to help come up with a name, I think you could have. Could have been something. The logo wasn't particularly derogatory, I don't think. Pretty noble image of a Native American. So, too bad. I don't know how I got here. Well, I'm glad you're here. You're a beast, though. Okay. Michelle, is this sword already sold or made on spec? Well, Michelle, it's sold. It's on order. It was on order. Sometimes they take 2 to 4 weeks. In fact, I'm going to have to order some polyfoam now because I'm officially too low to do another sword. Pretty sure. Yeah, I don't have 500 grams of foam left. So. Yeah, this was ordered. I think it was by Shane somebody. After some confusion, managed to put it through. I haven't been advertising these swords on the website because I'm super busy with a bunch of other things right now. I'm trying to not allow the handmade manufactured stuff to take over because. It's going to block my, YouTubing opportunities. But if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to work in here and make some stuff, which I still do, I need to because it's still a large source of income. One of the primary sources of income. I will probably be doing these on order through the website. I've always just made myself a bunch of orders after this. It's like, good news, bad news. I need the money, but not the work. I need the money. I'm thankful, not the work. It's tax time. Unfortunately, that's one of the issues I'm dealing with. I got to get on that. It's tax time.
Gotta get mine prepared. All right. Let's see what we got. I don't know how long I waited. How long did I wait? Was it really 15 minutes? And now. Number 3. Music by DJ ENIAC. Check out his channel. I hope I don't get in trouble. I didn't ask him. There we go. Now I'll probably get in trouble because that's a what's his face sample he's playing right now. Okay, I'm pulling it apart. Ooh. Be careful. Old mold, so it happens to be some bleed. This does not feel perfect. Or is it just my? Is it just my release agent caused the phone to be a little soft? Down below. Whoa! Yeah, this is like weirdly soft, which means that the foam down here might not be as well mixed, unfortunately, as it was above the last of the stuff that went down. That would suck. Miscasts suck. It costs a lot of money. That was $150 for a gallon kit of this stuff. Roughly, you get about 4 or 5 swords. So a miscast is $30 at least, maybe $40 worth of foam down the toilet. Yeah, I'd say $40 worth of foam down the toilet. What's good up top is, like I said before, I'm worried about below. And release agent's working good. Don't forget your release agent, kids. Oh, that fell right off. Nice. Nice. Oh. That's good. That's good. Any softness down there will disappear once it sets up overnight. The camera pulls it. So the next step is, after it's, I let it set up overnight. Next step is pull it out of the mold and cut the handle off with my chop saw over there. You can see it. And then I usually seal the open cell. That's any place where I have to trim the foam. Where I trim the foam, there'll be a little bit of open cell there. And that means, it's porous or it has holes. It's not a skin, tight skin like this. And so I'll patch and fill things like that with some urethane-based contact cement. It's not contact cement, sort of a panel paste or paneling adhesive. It's an adhesive. I just get it from a drugstore or a hardware store. And yeah, this is weird down here. Use some seaming scissors to trim it. I get those at a drugstore. They're too expensive. No Way Seeming says you should cost $10. Overall, this is good. I don't see any major air pockets. I hit them all. And then I just paint it. After the after the construction adhesive is set up, I just paint it. I use spray paint, but I dry brush it on. And I dry brush it on. I go with dark first, and then I go with light highlights. I spray paint the dark, and then I go with light highlights dry brushing. And it gives it a kind of a pitted, cartoony steel look, you know. As you can see, this is supposed to have a hammered texture, like as if somebody was, you know, some sort of crude Viking metal worker, you know, hammered this sucker out. But, I'm going to stop here as far as taking the sword out. And if you guys have any other questions, talk a little bit. That'd be cool. Yeah, like I said, this channel is about having a place to talk about other projects and promote them without being encumbered by 10 pounds of hair. Don't tell Sleazy I said that. He can be very encumbering. It's going to be a graphic comic book called Rednecks in Dreamland. I'll be building a website, and the crowdfunder will kick off sometime in June, roughly June 1st. So we can still call it as, you know, because we've been saying it was going to be in spring. The spring. It's like almost the last day of spring, so we could still call it in spring. But yeah, it's going to be a 100-page graphic novel, roughly 100 page. I don't know if it'll go a little over, a little under. And we're going to self-publish. I wrote it. Douglas is doing the pencils and inks, and I'll color it. I'm going to be coloring it. Right now, I've been doing preliminary conceptual artwork, which we may sell as prints if there's interest. And autograph prints, I guess. And yeah, so that's where that's at. I don't know what else I should talk about. I guess I'll repeat, since there's more people in the chat now, I'll repeat what I'm going to plan to do with this show. There'll be live streams like this where I'm just talking and making stuff. But also, I'll be chatting it up with other GWAR members. I'm going to get some old ones on. I'm going to get people like Dave Muscle, maybe Mike Delaney, Chuck Varga, Danielle Stamp, people like that, and get them to talk old times. And more or less talk about my influences and talk about what I did in GWAR. You sort of just assume people know, but people don't. And so spending a while on YouTube and being a big Jack Kirby lover that I am, it bothered me a little how, underappreciated maybe he went. Not really, but to a degree compared to Stan Lee, and that's how things seem to work. It's some people have access to the megaphone more than others, and so credit becomes disproportionately given out. And so by talking about my contributions, I'm not going to try to take anything away from anybody else, but it's important that people know what I did.
as far as, what was my contribution to the organization. Because some people think I just, I just played sleazy, and that's all. So, I'm going to have to correct that, I guess. Any questions? Please get Stampy on. Okay, yeah, I will. Will it have a fold-in back page like Mad Magazines? I should do that. You talk about the graphic novel. Will the graphic novel include ads for any tiny seahorses? Michelle is full of it tonight, folks. It's going off. Maybe. It's not seahorses, though, Michelle. It's they're brine shrimp. Sea monkeys. Okay. Sea monkeys. All right. Get it straight. Yeah. So let's see. How long have I been running? 56. I had 9 people on. Yippee! Everybody got 7 thumbs up. That's a higher thumbs up percentage per watcher than I would normally get. So I got to be excited about that. All right. Looks like I've gone an hour, and that's plenty, I think. So this is the first mini. How regular can I be? Sweet Jeebus.
Only capable of holding one hand.
Okay. Yeah. As many as I can do, and I suppose I'll learn to become more habitual about it, just like I'm trying to become more habitual about the sleazy channel stuff too. So, thanks for showing up. There's our sword. Bring the camera in. Detail shot. Hopefully, I won't pull my. Yeah, I could. I might pull the whole thing apart. There it is. Oh. Cast by the Lady of the Lake. She wore a respirator, unlike me. All right, crackheads. Oops. Did I steal somebody's line? I think I did. Hey, what's that over there? That looks familiar. All right. Good seeing you guys. And I will hopefully see you over here more and more and more. Talk to you later. Bye.